Let me read to you some of the comments that appeared online after our story with the Prime Minister sitting down with the refugees after a one-year anniversary of them being in Canada. Refugees better able to thrive when families join them, says Justin Trudeau. Big no, 100% no. These people have 16 plus in their families. Nope, Canada does not need more people. Why can't Justin and all his Liberal supporters who agree with helping refugees just start a collective fund and use their own money? Lots of Canadians here aren't getting things like free computers, and lots of those Canadians also grew up in poverty. Well, here's an improvement for you, Justin. Stop letting them in. Caps. Problem solved. The majority of the comment, the running theme through the narrative after this story online were comments like this.
Clearly, these kinds of comments are generally both actual people posting as well as folks who are perhaps in the business and are being paid to do this, as well as the internet being a very significant space for organizing and catalyzing this kind of fear, this kind of anger, and really beginning to bring together the possibilities of an organized movement.
Do you see any legitimacy in these arguments?
What I think is very important is to recognize the emotional experience and the crisis that is going on for some people in terms of their identity, in terms of their employment, in terms of the actualities of what it means to live in poverty. Those are very difficult conditions. So to the extent that that is a very real factor here in Canada and in places of high unemployment, yes, we need to attend to that.
These things have happened before in bad economic times when we've had a recession. Is that one of the underlying themes here, or are you seeing something else in your studies and research?
I think that there's multiple factors that go into why we would see a moment that in the U.S. some are likening to the beginning of an era of authoritarianism or fascism, kind of white supremacy, white nationalism. I think the severity and the serious crisis that we're witnessing in the U.S. may appear to us in Canada like, oh, well, that could happen there, and it would never happen here in Canada. I'm actually of the strong opinion based on my research that this is an opportunity for Canadians to think carefully about how they might want to protect a pluralist democracy. We arguably will no longer have that south of the border. Who is going to uphold these standards of a country that is based on the notion of immigrants coming, of embracing immigrants, of that being part of the richness and fabric of this country, of a country with many, many resources, and the need for why would there be a turning towards a white nationalism? Why is there this backlash? Yes, of course, we are seeing unemployment at all-time lows, all-time low in Alberta, worst in 22 years. So that's an issue. When there is poverty, people look for something to blame. Interestingly, they often don't look at the actual roots of that, such as trade agreements that take jobs away, et cetera.
Oil prices,
all of these factors. Instead, it becomes in a very familiar way, directed at people of color, at those who are perceived as outsiders who are taking something from how the country used to be. Whether the country ever used to be that way is another question.